Everyone, today we have Ganesh with us. Before going into much detail around today's session, you must definitely know about MCPs, exactly it is, and how you can create cool projects using MCP, and you can use in this hackathon as well. So before going into much detail, let me just quickly cover those who are having Bot-a-thon for the first time. We are hosting uh, agent building hackathon, which will be happening from May 8th to 10th. So, like 3 more days to go. So, we are hosting that out regarding AI. So, like, we are building AI power wallet. It's more around Paytm for crypto. So, where you will be able to get all these particular features like lending, swapping, staking, NFT support, perps, and other options as well. So, imagine like you have certain funds in your wallet, and with the help of AI, like you can make it most out of it, like how you can spend to get the most returns and things like that. So this is what we are building. And regarding the so before having the actual product getting live, so we decided like we will be building a specific builder centric community out of it, so that like we will be having a bunch of people who will use our product on the first day of our launch. So we have been divided in different cities and countries. Like India is one of them, Vietnam, Indonesia, and so on. So you can go to our website, aircommunity.com, and from where you will get the most updates around the upcoming events that we are hosting. So as you all know, like this particular session is part of boot camp that we are hosting. The core idea behind hosting this particular bootcamp, as you all know, like most of the hackathon timeline is like 48 hours, 36 hours, and learning as well as building during that small time being is gonna somewhat impossible for a beginner. So that's why we came up with this a particular idea of hosting bot boot camp, like where we will share more around the things, what exactly how you can build your AI agent, things like that. And today we are here at our day 5 with Kaneshka. So if you wanted more details around Botathon, so you can like scan this particular QR code or either go to our website botathon.theaircommunity.com. From there, you will get all the details over there. And yeah, today we have Ganesh with us. He will be sharing more around his learning around MCPs and covering the basics from the builder perspective. Like he has around like 5 to 6 years of experience in tech, and currently he's doing AI and engineering and Hashian by Deloitte. So over to you, Ganesh. Like you can share more about yourself and a bit around the topic that we're gonna discuss today.
Sure. Thanks, Bhavna. Thanks for the intro. I'll quickly share my screen. Just should be visible now. Yeah. So, hey everyone, this is Kanishk. Today we will be talking about what exactly MCP means in the world of AI and how we can leverage it to, uh, in our multi-step agent workflows. So this will be our agenda for the session today. And uh, moving on, I'll start with a quick introduction about me. So I am I've been working in the tech industry for about 5.5 years now, and my primary stack is my go-to stack is Java and distributed systems. So uh, I've entered the AI space about somewhere around in 2024, and I've built plugins using plugins similar to Copilot that boosts developer productivity, and uh, yeah, that's pretty much about me. Now, coming to the topic, why do we need MCP? First of all, what exactly is MCP? So, MCP stands for Model Context Protocol. It was an open standard that was introduced by Anthropic sometime in late 2024, and it defines how AI models can integrate with external tools such as your applications, your databases, and your file systems. Uh, so you can, where the term that's thrown around the industry is USB-C for AI, a universal plug that lets any LLM connect to any tool without custom integrations, right? Before MCPs, how that integration used to happen was through APIs, custom APIs. For example, you want to integrate your LLM with, let's say, Gmail or GitHub. So you'll have to go through their documentation and build a wrapper around your application to be able to communicate with the LLMs. So that was an extra overhead, and that was not scalable because let's say you want to integrate with 5 tools or 6 tools. So every time you'll have to write a custom integration layer that will integrate with the LLM, right? So there was this gap for a standard that was missing in the AI space, right? So the good folks at Anthropic thought, why not come with a protocol ourselves? So they came up with a protocol that's called MCP, right? So this is exactly the gap that MCP is trying to fill, where you don't have to write custom integrations on a tool by tool basis, right? Moving on. So another example for why do we need MCPs could be, let's say you are trying to write an email, right? And you go to ChatGPT or Claude, and you mentioned that write an email to, let's say, write an email to Kanishk about Jira ticket that uh, he's been working on. And so the LLM would be able to help you in that aspect where it would be able to draft that email, but it does not has any of the tools or integrations there which enables it to send that email to the respective sender, right? So this is one of the requirements that MCPs fulfill, where uh, this protocol enables us to integrate with those external tools, Gmail here in for our use case here. And again, so like the other use case could be, let's say you are integrating with the Gmail here, and those API endpoints are exposed, but you'll have to feed that entire context to the LLM again and again to be able to make that API call successfully. And that bloats up the context window exponentially. So considering the current token costs and how LLMs have revised their pricing across all of their models. Recently, the Opus usage rate has seen a 27x multiplier, right? So considering the token as a resource, MCPs play a vital role here where you don't have to load that entire context again and again. You just have to make that specific tool call and it will be able to perform that task. Coming to the architectural overview. Now, so what you can think of an MCP is like for this to be able to create a mental model. inside your mind, you can think about how a browser works, right? So you open whatever is your choice of browser. So you open Chrome, you write a URL, and you click on enter, or you press enter, or uh, to navigate to that said URL. So what happens in the background is that web server talks to a database or a or an API behind it, right? And so this is exactly what an MCP allows us to do just for AI, right? So there are three actors in the MCP architecture. First is our MCP host. So this is our AI-powered application. You can it could be anything, right? It could be your custom chatbot. It could be your tool, let's say Cursor, Claude Code, or any of the tools. So this tool is entirely responsible to run the LLM, and it decides. So it's an orchestrator where it decides when to call that specific tool, right? So that tool could be anything in the external service that you are trying to consume. Uh, so, and it does not entirely care how that tool is implemented, right? So whatever is going on in the background, it does not care. There's an abstraction layer to it. It just knows that the tool exists and trusts the MCP layer to handle the rest, right? So the host is like the browser. It has no idea how the server works internally. It just knows how to make requests, right? So this is, sorry, yeah. So this was about the MCP host, right? So an MCP server uh, consists of three parts: tools or callable actions, resources, uh, readable data, and prompts that consists of prompt templates, right? So this is exactly where the capability lives, right? So an MCP server is a small, focused process that you, as a developer, build and deploy, uh, and you are exposing specific tools that the LLM can consume and perform those tasks, whatever you are trying to achieve, right? So the key insight here is decoupling your MCP server. Let's say you're querying your Postgres database or MongoDB database, right? Uh, but your LLM has zero knowledge of what database it's calling, right? It's relying on the MCP server that there will be a appropriate tool called present, and it will help in achieving those database operations that you're trying to perform through LLM or MCP host in this architecture, right? So another analogy could be you can think of MCP servers like microservices, but that is for AI tools. Each microservice has a different uh, use case, and you are responsible for composing those services. Now, the external service, which is our the last actor in this MCP architecture uh, diagram. So this is what the MCP server wraps, right? So it could be anything. It could be a database. Does not care if it's a relational or non-relational database. It could be a REST API. It could be a file system that's responsible for reading or writing any of the file, standard input-output operations here. So, and this external service could also be a remote hosted service. We can take an example of uh, Gmail or GitHub, Slack, Figma, whatever uh, third party service that has an MCP server. We can integrate that with our MCP host, right? Now, coming to the communication protocol, so the MCP server supports two communication protocols here. Well, you can either say communication protocol or transport mechanism, which is standard input output, which is for, well, uh, if you're running a local MCP server, or SSE, which stands for server sent events over, well, an HTTP request. And the mode of transport for this communication between the MCP host and MCP server is JSON RPC uh, 2.0. Uh, it's just another communication protocol. You can think of it as a uh, well, a REST API analogy does not entirely fit this architecture, but you can think of it as another way to communicate between two services here, right? So what STDIO stands for, it's standard input output, and it's responsible when the server is running as a local subprocess, and the host communicates via standard input output. Well, this communication protocol is the default for servers that are deployed locally. And a good use case for this would be, well, when you're trying to integrate to a local database or a file system that does not require any, uh, communication over the internet. And if you require any communication over the internet, that is when SSC comes into picture, right? So this essentially plays a vital role when you are trying to communicate to an MCP server that's hosted remotely. So we will again take the example of GitHub's MCP server. Uh, since you'll have to use their tools that are present over the internet, right? Uh, a use case could be you are trying to fetch the issues on your GitHub board, or you're trying to create a PR, or you're trying to work on an issue. So you'll have to fetch those details from your GitHub board that's hosted uh, on GitHub, right? So you'll have to make that connection over HTTP. So this is where SSE comes into picture. So, and between MCP server and external service, there we have these native calls, which is defined by these, which is defined by the external service of how it wants to communicate with the MCP server, right? It could be anything. It could be a REST API. It could be a simple database query that you are trying to execute over the MCP server. So this was a brief architectural overview on the MCP. And if you want to read more about it, there's official documentation that Anthropic has published over modelcontextprotocol.io. And it also has ways on how you can build your own MCP server. For today's session, we won't be building our own MCP server. We will just be using an existing MCP server and see how well it integrates with our uh, agent workflow, and how it's able to speed up that process of uh, development. Now, what problems does MCP solve? So we discussed this earlier, but one of the major problems that MCP solves is, well, context optimization. Now, what do we mean by context optimization? So let's suppose you're trying to integrate to an external service, right? But considering LLM, so the LLM is an isolated service, right? It's generic for everyone. It does not has that context of what integrations uh, you have in mind, right? So let's say you're trying to draft an email. Uh, I'll quickly go to ChatGPT, right, and say I want to draft an email to Pranuj Gupta, and I'll also mention my email ID there about a Jira issue and the scope of development that it entails. Right. Send that email. So you would assume that, well, we can think that LLM is capable of drafting that email, so it should be able to send that email as well, right? Let's see what response we get. Right, so we only get a uh, draft of what we can write in the body and the subject as well of that email, but it's not able to make those actions on our behalf, that it's able to send this email to this specific email address. So now when we talk about context optimization, so when you have integrated this, let's say you have developed an application and you're consuming Gmail's APIs to be able to integrate it with LLM and make those decisions on your behalf. But every time you'll have to enter those details in the prompt, that you have to draft an email and you have to send that email with this priority or whatever the subject line has to be. So this bloats up our context window. What MCP server allows us to do is, it already has those tool calls enabled, and it already has those descriptions about what tool has to be invoked. So let's say I want to send this email. There will be a tool call with this with the description that when the user wants to send an email, just use this tool call, and on the back end, it will be calling those APIs, but we don't really care about the implementations that tool call has, right? Another use case would be, well, another problem that MCP solves is, uh, well, the integration problem, that suppose you have multiple tools or external services that you want to integrate, but uh, you can't uh, you can't scale that in real time, right? Because you'll have to uh, write custom integration layers or custom wrappers that will consume that API, and uh, you know you have to ensure that proper tool calls are being made when you want to perform it, when you want to perform a particular task. So that is another issue. And this also comes down to the lane where you have to define your own standards. And MCP already has those details. So uh, you don't necessarily have to waste time in writing your own implementations about how the tool calls should be made of to the external services through uh, LLMs, right? Now I'll show you guys a brief demo about how MCP servers work. And first of all, I'll just walk through the process of how you can set up the MCP server. For this demo, I'm using GitHub's MCP server to integrate with my private repository. And this is a private project that I'm currently working on. So it already has a couple of uh, issues on the board, and uh, we'll just pick these two issues that for our demo today. But before this, so you can just Google GitHub MCP server, and there there's a markdown file where it shows how to uh, set up the MCP server with any of the MCP hosts that you are trying to integrate it with. So for today's demo, I'm using Cloud Code. So I have the instructions on how to set up Cloud Code MCP server on Cloud Code. But if you are using Copilot or Codex or Cursor, you can just navigate to the respective markdown files and you can set it up on your own development environment. So since I'm using Windows, so I'll be following the commands that they've mentioned in the documentation. But if you are running Linux or Mac, you can find those commands, find those steps in this documentation itself, right? So for this, you only need, you need Claude. Uh, so I have the Claude CLI already installed, right? And you'll also need the GitHub CLI to be able to make those requests through Claude. So for setting up the GitHub CLI, just look up Google that how to set up GitHub CLI. It will on Windows, you'll just get a executable file that you can simply install, and it will add those details to your environment variables. So you won't have to worry about setting up those environment variables on your own. And similarly for Mac or Linux, for Linux you can install through uh, there should be a installation instruction for Linux, and for Mac you can install directly through Homebrew. Now there is this command where you have to run this in your terminal to be able to set it up on your machine. Now for Windows, you might face an error where it says that this command is invalid or it does not recognize that particular command. So you can just look up this under for older versions of Cloud Code. You can look up this command, Claude MCP add --transport, and uh, it will ask for your GitHub personal access token. So you'll have to create your own personal access token. How you can do it is either through this documentation, you can directly click on GitHub personal access token. It will redirect you to uh, developer settings on your GitHub account. So I'll just quickly go to tokens classic, click on generate new token classic. You can mention anything, whatever your use case is. So I'll mention Claude CLI2, and you have to be very careful with the scope that you are selecting. Uh, I have given all of the scopes because this is a personal repository. So I do not necessarily care if Claude has admin access or not. But if you are working in an enterprise setting, you need to be very careful of the scope that you are giving to Claude, right? So I've already created a token. I'll be using that. Uh, you'll just go to generate token. It will generate a token for you, and you have to copy that token and replace it with this value here, your GitHub pat. Well, yep, here, Claude MCP add. Just replace your GitHub pat with your personal access token that you recently generated, and you should be good to go. Now to check for Claude, if you want to check if the MCP server is added successfully or not, you can look it up through /MCP. So it has four MCP servers that are currently managed here, and the GitHub's MCP server is successfully connected, and it has 41 tools under it. Now, if we want to list what tools does this MCP server provide, we can quickly go to the list of tools. So add review comment to the requester's latest pending pull request review, add comment to issue. You can do anything which this tool has to offer through Cloud Code CLI here, right? You can view the open issues, you can merge pull requests, you can create PRs, you can create new branches, you can search code, you can search issues, right? So let's say I want to list the open issues on this repository. Right, so you have to be very vigilant of what command Claude is trying to execute to be able to see if it does not go off track. Right, it's still working. So for this demo, what I will do is I'll pick up this ticket, issue number 55, right? And I'll ask Claude to work on this issue. So this is how MCP server is playing a vital role here, where it's able to fetch those issues on its own. And I don't have to, manually intervene here to be able to feed all that context about what does command to open a ticket exactly mean. Now, if I go to my list of issues, command to open a ticket. So this is this will create a command that opens a ticket and tags leadership in a new channel. And in a new channel, so this project is essentially a Discord bot that is for server management. And so I'll ask Claude to create a new custom command for me where the channel where it will create a new ticket for whichever user is trying to create a new ticket, and it will add both the that specific user and the admins of that Discord server in a channel called conference, and I'll add the details about the channel and about the channel and roles here in my environment file. So this is just a dummy environment file which I'm using, and all of those details are present in .env, .env development, and .env production. So yeah, I start working on issue number 55. Before I do this, I'll just ask Claude to start plan mode because uh, we want to review what Claude has thought up instead of directly letting Claude uh, alter our changes or create new files. We will review those changes and then we'll ask Claude to start implementation. On issue number 55. So since this is a Discord bot, I'll quickly go to the server. This is my development server where I'm testing the bot, right? And this is the bot that is in which we are working on right now. Right, let's see what it's trying to do. Yes. Right, so currently Claude is just going through the code base, trying to understand what the current implementation and what practices that we are following for our code base, and it will generate code in alignment with those practices. Similarly, this is for GitHub's MCP server. Now, if you're a front-end developer, a good use case for you could be leveraging the Figma's MCP server, where you already have the wireframes and prototypes present on the Figma board, and you just want Claude to refer those wireframes and generate code uh, for you accordingly. So you won't have to feed that context separately, because Claude will have the entire picture of what you're trying to develop on the UI side. Similarly, for payment related APIs, Stripe also has an MCP server where you can leverage those details and make those operations much quicker. Let's see what Claude is asking about. Should the ticket command open a reason or description from the user where you open a ticket? Yes, we need that detail of the user. Or we can mention just it's an optional field. If they want to mention, they can. Okay, let's review the plan that Claude has come up with. Okay, it's asking that we'll need the role IDs and channel ID for this change. Defer reply. This is just a cosmetic change about the dialog box that will open. No DB record needed. Okay, looks good. So we'll just ask Claude to make those changes, and we are on the main branch right now. We'll just ask Claude to make those changes, and then we'll check out to a different branch and then ask Claude to uh, create a PR. I've already configured the roles and role ID and channel ID in my env files, so we won't have to do it again. We just need to let Claude finish the implementation, and then we'll test out our changes if it's working as expected or not. right? It has mentioned to deploy, add conference and conference roles in your .env development, and then run this command to register this command with Discord. So I'll just do that in pm src deploy. Oh, sorry, it's node, not np. Right. So this command is now successfully registered. Now we'll just start our Discord bot to see if it's working. And we can ignore this error because this is related to a third-party API call, which the IPs for that rotates, and we don't really need to worry about that. So now if I go on to create a ticket, so we already have that ticket command added now for this bot. Inquire about anything. Right, so a ticket has been opened, and it tags leadership, which was the intent of the command, and it also logs that inside our another channel. Well, this is just for auditing purposes, right? So this implementation was achieved successfully. Now I can just ask Claude to close this issue number 55 and create a PR. Okay, first of all, we need to check out create a new branch at this change and PR, right? Because we are on main branch and we don't want to directly push our code to main, right? It's asking us if you want to create a separate branch. Now we need to add those changes. This is for the git commit message, co-authored by Claude Sonnet. Yes. Do you want to push? Yes. Okay, so this was successful. Now this process was much faster because of this MCP server alone, right? This command requires approval. What it's trying to do? Okay, it's trying to create a PR with the summary that will be present in a description box. And yeah, we don't want to create a PR. PR is live. Now, if I go to my pull request page, right? So this PR was opened just now, and everything that Claude mentioned is in this description, and we can review the changes in our file. Well, we definitely don't want any emojis, but this is part of an embed, so that could be ignored. So there is a PR link to this as well. That's because I believe in the commit message. Yep, in the commit message, Claude has mentioned that it closes issue number 55, which is pretty neat. Now, similarly, I want to create a new, I want uh, Claude to work on a new issue, which allows us to delete multiple messages at a time. But since this is a command that should not be accessible to everyone in the server, we only want a couple of folks to access it. So I've mentioned that only the leadership role should be able to uh, use this command, and any other user with lesser permission should not be able to use it. Right. Okay. Check out to main, create a new branch, and start working on issue number 56. Let's see what happens. Okay, I'm just gonna do this for now. So it does not ask us again if it wants to create a new branch, and we don't want to give our approval again. Well, we do, but Claude should assume that it has our approval. Right, so another branch was created, feature/purge command, and currently we're in auto accept mode instead of planning mode. So Claude will continue to make changes. So there was a new utility file created here. And okay, do you want to proceed? Yes, sir, I do. This command requires approval. Do you want to proceed? Yes. It will go and create a new PR, but before we actually merge this PR to our main branch, we'll have to verify if this command is actually working or not. Yep, I'll let it create a PR while we verify. So we need to stop our server. We need to register our new slash command again. Right. And just start a server. So the purge command is already worked on, and it should have a separate PR here. Yep. Pretty neat. If I want to verify if those changes are properly working or not, I've already restarted the server, and let me see if I have those. Yep, I have the leadership command. Okay, this is just to see if it's actually working or not. Right, count. The default count is 5. If I don't give any count, let's see how it. Okay, if I. Yep, deleted 5 messages. Now if I'm at message count 9. If I use this command again, purge count 7, deleted 7 messages. We were up to 9, and now we only have 2. So now we can go ahead and merge this PR. Well, we need to ensure that add conference, we've already done this, we've already done this. Ticket, we've already done this. We haven't done this, but that is all right. rebase and merge. There is only one commit, refresh change, rebase and merge, confirm rebase and merge. Pull request successfully merged and close, and now we'll delete this branch. So this process was much faster because we had that integration going for us, right? Instead, uh, instead of having this integration in place, what you would have to do is write that code using Claude, then create a new branch manually. Then you'll have to uh, create a new PR through the UI, or if you're using GitHub CLI, then you'll have to do using GitHub CLI. But since that integration was in place, we were able to achieve this entire implementation much faster. Similarly, it has a lot of other tools that you guys can explore. Since we only have a limited amount of time, so we won't be able to explore this entire list of tools that this MCP server has to offer, but you guys can go ahead and explore it on your own time. So the secret scanning is essentially for if you accidentally have pushed any keys or tokens that should not be present in a public or a private repo. So this allows us to scan for those and uh, give you uh, uh, give you a report if you accidentally have pushed any of the keys there. So that pretty much wraps up our live demo. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out either on my email or feel free to reach out on LinkedIn. I've mentioned both of those in this deck here. So yeah, this pretty much wraps up this session. Very happy to discuss MCPs with you guys. Thanks, Bhavna, for hosting me. Uh, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you guys. Thank you, Ganesh, like for covering or building a cool project using GitHub MCP. I really love how you come up with the idea to create a Discord bot and eventually make most out of it. Like over here, we can see the experience come out with the work that we have done. So I can see that particular part.
Yeah, so
Insane.
the idea behind this Discord bot was there's this game Clash of Clans that I like to play, and there's a lot of management activities that go behind the scenes. So well, to streamline that process, I decided to build a bot, and it does pretty much everything that we used to do manually. So yeah, pretty fun to develop. It's a vibe coded project, but yeah, very very nice.
Yeah, Yuvraj was just mentioning learn new things, amazing session. Yeah, kudos to Ganesh to make some time to come over here on the live stream and share with you guys.
Thank you guys.
Let me show you one cool thing that we are doing. Like we are doing a giveaway around the Bot-a-thon. There is one cool project, Super Plane, if you know about that particular project. Like you can host everything just by providing the commands and everything. Like they used to
Mhm.
take care around the production side of it. So very cool project. So like you guys can go through, run their GitHub. Like it's open source, so you can check out, can like the repo and things like that. So eventually, we will decide 11 winners. They will get the mechanical keyboard delivered from our side to their location. So it's a cool giveaway. You can be the part of it, and do let us know around the things. Yeah, happy hacking, guys. Like, if you're having any doubts, you can directly reach out to Ganesh. Like, I have shared his LinkedIn over here in the comments, as well as I will add every judges, mentors, speakers into our WhatsApp group that we have for our hackathon. So if you have any doubts, you can directly ask in the group itself. So yeah, wishing you best of luck for the hackathon. If you wanted to have any doubts regarding the ideas and anything, you can let us know in the group. We would love to support you, help you with the things. And happy hacking and wish you a good day ahead. Bye bye.
Good luck, guys. Thank you.